Speaking right now.
Dave Abramo, Chairman. Do we have everyone online that we're supposed to for now? Looks like there's a slew of people, so. Can you hear us all right? Reporting?
I can hear you perfectly. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll start off for the day, and then we'll go around and introduce ourselves.
Dave, will you just do you want me to go on the record right now?
Yeah, why don't we go on the record? That way it's all recorded. We on the record?
We're on the record.
Thank you. All right, good morning, everyone. This is the March 15th, 2023 meeting of the Albany Regional Board of Review. The hearing is being held via video conference call, WebEx at the following location: New York State Department of State, 1 Commerce Plaza, 99 Washington Ave, conference room 505 in Albany, New York, 12231. So the time is now 9:10 a.m. and the hearing's officially open. So the members of the board are Ms. Laura Ryder, Mr. Andy Ellis to the left, Ms. Jackie Coons to the left of me, and Mr. Jared Beringer on the right. My name is Dave Abramo, and I'm the chairman for today. And from the Department of State, we also have Mr. Dan Farrelly online. So why don't we go at this time, why don't we go around the room and introduce ourselves. We'll start with the board members again. My name is Dave Abramo. I'm the chairman for today. We'll start. Ms. Coons.
Jackie Coons, board member.
Andy Ellis, board member.
Laura Ryder, board member.
Jared Beringer, board member.
Great. And we do have someone present today. Thank you for coming in person.
You're welcome. My name is Robert Rossborough. I'm a representative for 852 Union Street, Schenectady.
Okay.
Union Rentals.
Colonial Property Management is the manager, and then Stopper Revocable Trust is the owner.
Okay. That's our second case
Okay.
here today. Yep.
Sorry, this is Maureen. Robert, somebody was speaking. I couldn't hear him that clearly.
Sorry, I'll speak up. It's Robert Rossborough, Rossborough.
Thank you.
And then I guess, why don't we go on, should we announce ourselves to anyone connected remotely so that we can record them as well at this stage? Why don't we go down?
Yeah, this is.
Go ahead, Dan.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Farrelly, why don't you start off, and then everyone in line just kind of announce yourself, say your name and your title, and who you're affiliated with, please.
Yeah, this is Dan Farley, and I'm here with the Department of State. I'm the regional rep for these cases today.
Good morning. This is Erica Krieger. I'm the Assistant Director for Variance with the Department of State, and I will be in and out of today's meeting. I'm not here particularly to participate.
Anybody else feel free to speak up?
Good morning. My name is Ricardo Kapoor. I'm Code Enforcement Officer for City of Schenectady.
Mr. Chairman, I also wanted to mention that, we do have an agenda for today. I don't know if all the cases are here in order necessarily, so please keep that in mind.
Okay, thank you. So why don't we do this? Why don't we go through the cases individually, and when we get to those, I'd like everyone who's present for that case, the petitioners to announce themselves, we can go through there. So we're gonna now hear the scheduled petitions. When you speak, please do address the board, give your name, title, and legal address so that our court reporter can have all information requested. We may have to stop from time to time to consult with our technical staff. In making comments to the board, please provide a descriptive narrative on matters referring to your exhibits and to enable the court reporter to enter these into the record. So we do have 5 cases for today. We're going to jump right into the first one. The way this is going to work is we're going to go through each case individually. We're going to hear the case from the petitioners. The board's going to ask questions and have a discussion. And then we'll go into what we're called deliberation, which we'll leave the current room to have, and anyone present, we would ask them to leave the room so that the board can deliberate on that specific case. We'll ask you back into the room, or we'll join back into this WebEx, and then we'll conclude that case before moving on to the next one. So bear with us as we get through the day. We do have 5, like I said, so we'll do these in order and get through it. So the first case for today in the first hearing is the petition number 2022-0653. The petitioner is Sadek Enterprises. Is there someone online representing this case today? I'm going to take that as no. Let's just double check. Is there anyone on the meeting today representing petition number 2022-0653? It has to do with the property located at 814 Eastern Avenue in Schenectady.
Yes, my name is Dan.
Sorry, you got cut off there. If you don't mind speaking again.
I'm with the city of.
Oh. Seems like we have a bad connection.
I believe he's the code.
That is the code enforcement official?
Yes.
His name is on it.
Dan, would you mind trying to call back in and see if your connection get reestablished?
This was tabled from the last,
Yeah, it was.
wasn't it?
The last one, we planned on it not being here though.
Yeah.
This is the prior one.
With John and Judy.
It was in our paperwork, but I thought we just didn't even look for it. I thought it had the last one.
Yeah, I think it got pulled.
There's no
Wait.
payment.
Yeah.
Would you like to go off the record till we start? Or stay?
I was going to give it another 10 seconds, and I think we're going to move on to the next case for today.
Okay.
Let's stay on the record a moment. Might be your lucky day. Why don't we do that? I think we waited long enough. So for the record, we do not have a participant or representative from petition number 2022-0653. We're going to put that one to the side. And we're going to move on to what's scheduled as the second petition for today. And that is in the matter of petition number 2022-0672. The petitioner is from Stauber Irrevocable Trust. Present today in person. Why don't you again state your name once again for the record, and then.
My name is Robert Prospero. I'm an attorney for the owner.
How you doing?
Stauber Irrevocable Trust.
Yep, I'll say.
I'm sorry, I could not hear that.
We'll try again. Oh, we just had someone walk in the room for a second.
This is your first case, Adam.
This is our first case?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we're gonna start with the second case since we already moved on to that one. We'll come back around to yours after that one, okay? All right, so.
My name is Robert Prospero. I'm the attorney for the Stauber Irrevocable Trust, the owner of 852 Union Street in Schenectady.
Great, thank you, Mr. Rossborough. Were you able to hear that all right?
I was, thank you.
Thank you, okay. So what I'll do is I'll introduce the case, we'll go through it, and then we'll open up the floor for you to present it to the board, okay? Great, so this petition pertains to an existing building of group R2 occupancy, 3 stories in height, of type 5A wood frame protected construction. It's located at 852 Union Street, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. Relief is requested from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, the Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, cellar ceilings, which states in every such dwelling, 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. The petitioner is requesting relief from the requirement that a fire retarded ceiling or sprinkler system be provided in the cellar of the dwelling. So that opens up the case. We'll open it up the floor now for the petitioner to state his remarks for the board.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and the members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. So what our client is looking to do is, the installation of a sprinkler system in such an old building. This was built in 1920. Would be financially impracticable for them. They had a loss last year of about $88,000. The rental income is very minimal at this point. So what they've proposed instead, and what they provided to me yesterday that I'll provide to the board, is a sketch of how they either have or will install both heat sensors and combination smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors throughout the building. There are, in particular, 5 heat sensors proposed for the basement level, including and then 3 additional combination smoke and CO alarms. Outside of the dwelling units, there are also some additional heat sensors, and inside the dwelling unit, each dwelling unit has at least 1 heat sensor and combo smoke alarm in each room. So what the client is proposing to do is ensure that the safety of the building obviously is paramount and the people living there. And they believe that this should adequately ensure that the fire protection that is intended to be with a sprinkler system in the basement would be provided so that they wouldn't, ultimately be able to install the sprinkler system because of how much it would cost. But this would provide the other mitigative effects that they had intended.
Great. And just for the record, we are looking at a sketch that was just provided for us. We'll make sure we'll hold on to one of these to enter that into the file. So open up to the board if you have any questions, we'll talk through it.
Are these going to be interconnected
Yes,
so someone on the 3rd floor is going to know what's going on the 1st floor?
correct.
To be clear, this is Laura speaking. To be clear, these are heat detectors, not smoke detectors.
So there's both. They're proposing both heat sensors and separate combination smoke and CO detection on every level of the building.
So these are kind of smoke and CO. And all sensors are interconnected,
Yes.
wirelessly interconnected?
Yeah, they would be wirelessly
Wireless,
yes.
Was that Mr. Ellis speaking?
No, that was Mr. Abramo again.
Rossborough.
I'm talking about the other board member? Or
That
board
was-
member?
That was Mr. Abramo again.
Thank you.
This is Laura speaking. How many apartments are in here?
There are seven units in the building. I believe they missed the floor in the sketch that they provided to us. But when I spoke with the client was assured that each of the dwelling units would have the same, heat sensor and combination smoke and carbon monoxide alarms interconnected, so that if one alarm triggers, they all.
This is Jared speaking. Do they have single means of egress and then the use of fire escapes as well from the outside? Is that what it is? Single means from the interior?
Correct.
Are those doors self-closing right now for the apartment?
I believe they are, yes.
Is the basement door fire rated?
I don't know that, but I can find that information for the board.
And does that basement door have a self-closer on as well?
I imagine it would, but like I said, I can provide that information.
And does that basement come up into that common stairwell? Or is it an exterior entrance into the basement,
I don't know. No.
This is Andy Ellis from the board. Do you know on the basement level, is there anything for the tenants, any reason for them to be down there, or is it just
No.
storage?
No, it's just storage and
Okay.
the mechanical systems for the building.
Okay.
This is Jared from the board. What's the current system that's installed there now?
I believe they have the smoke alarms on the upper floors where the dwelling units are.
Just local? Just
Local
local.
alarms. Right.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
This is Laura from the board. So the basement plan is not shown here, so how many detectors are shown, are in the basement?
The top, I believe the top is.
Oh, is the basement plan, so there are apartments in the basement?
No, I don't, no, there are not. I don't, oh wait, yes, hold on.
Well, it says apartment A, B, and C.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So I'm saying, is that's the basement level though? Or is that the ground level? I don't know how many stories the building is, I didn't look that up.
It's 3 stories.
Plus basement.
Above ground, plus basement.
Okay, so right, so this must be the first floor.
That must be the first.
Right.
Correct.
Probably the basement.
Stairwell.
Basement stairwell, I believe.
Right, okay.
Goes into
So that would.
Right, so then, so down at the basement level, how many detectors do we have down there? Or is there a proposal for them, or?
Yeah, I mean, the proposal when I spoke to the client is however many are necessary in the basement, they'll put in.
Okay.
So they're happy to do, whatever it takes.
Do you know, is the basement one open space, or is it cut up into little small areas?
From the pictures that they had sent me, it looks like a much more open space. There may be a small storage unit for building materials or those types of things that they have, just for the building owner, but it's not, like I said, it's not.
And there's a mechanical room in the basement,
Yes,
which is unenclosed or enclosed?
I believe it's unenclosed, but I can provide that information as well.
Laura, here's a picture. Street view. So it must be a full basement.
Yes.
Who's speaking, please?
This is Andy Ellis from the board.
Yeah, the focus on the basement is because to preclude the section is the point is to rate the ceiling of the basement so that if something happens in the basement, that's where the notification needs to happen. Right.
Please say who's speaking.
Mr. Abramo, I'm sorry. Any other questions or comments from the board?
No, this is Laura, I think I understand what they're proposing and I think I understand the layout of the building. So no more questions for me.
I'm good.
Yep. Great, so then at this time, the board's gonna go into deliberation. We'll ask you guys, everyone to leave the room while we do that. And then we'll invite you back in to conclude the hearing. So let's go off the record.
We're off the record.
Thank you. We're back into the room and the petitioner's back in the room present with us. Let's go back on the record.
We're on the record.
Thank you. Again, this is Mr. Brownwell, the chairman speaking. A couple things before we conclude the hearing is I'd like to open up the floor. I believe we have Mr. Kapoor, the code enforcement official, present online. We do. What's that? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. If you don't mind, I didn't open up last time for you to make any comment with regards to this case. I'd like to open that up to you currently. And if you don't mind stating your name for the record, again, I'm sorry.
City of Schenectady.
It sounds like we might have a bad connection again.
Can anybody hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, there we go.
And Prasad, I'm with the
It's cutting out.
Dan Prasad, City of Schenectady Building Department. Did that work?
Yes, we can hear you currently.
Seems like I have to have my mic really close. I have bad mic.
Okay, we can hear okay right now. Any comment with regards to this case? Just want to make sure we're covering everything.
It's in regards to the fire retardants for the cellar ceiling.
That's correct. Yeah, I don't know if you had any specific thoughts or comments in regards to this. I think we have a good idea of where we're headed with this one. I just wanted to open it up the floor to you if you have any comments or questions for us, the board.
Well, he currently, from what I understand, he currently has a hardwire system in the building. It's just that the locations and the type of device that needs to be installed, I'm not 100% sure of what you guys are specifically looking for and the locations where you would like that to.
Sure, and what we're going to do is we're going to get through this, and part of the conditions is going to be submitting a floor plan developed by a qualified individual that would get submitted to the city prior to the detectors being installed. So that way the city can see where those are being proposed before they actually get installed. And then we're also, as a part of a condition, because these would be wireless in this case, I believe that's what we were told by petitioner, that we would still, I'm not sure if you're familiar with prior acceptance to these sort of things, but we would require an independent inspection agency to test the system annually.
That is what I've been seeing so far with the ones that we've been currently doing. So also, so it's gonna be he just has to know that it's gonna be a yearly inspection from that third party.
Correct. Great. Okay, great. So we're going to go through part of some of the conditions here, and this is for the petitioner just to understand that we do have this floor plan in front of us. It seems like it's not complete. It does not have the basement or all the levels. It may be a little bit above and beyond what's required with the amount of heat sensors in there. What we are going to do as part of the conditions is require a floor plan be developed by a qualified individual that would get submitted to the city prior to installing detectors.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah. The other thing that you'll notice also as far as the condition goes is that you heard the annual inspection of these, as well as will require that basement door be fire retardant and self-closing.
Yes.
And some others. You'll hear those conditions. I'll make sure that those conditions are clear as we get through this. I did hear hardwired. I just want to verify that this is a wireless system that's being proposed.
That's, I believe, what they're intending, yes.
Okay.
Wireless that would connect throughout them.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Comments?
Yes, Mr. Prasad, did you say that the building currently does have a hardwired system of some sort?
That I can recall, yes, I think there was a hard wire he has there.
And is that your understanding too?
Yes,
Yes.
the current system.
So we had some discussion about this on previous cases. When there's an existing system and we're adding a new wireless system, do they need to talk to each other? Do we want to remove the old? Do we leave them both?
And Prasad, I have the same question here. As a hard wires now, does that hard the system where some like
You're cutting out, unfortunately.
sorry. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah, I was referring back to the hardwire system that he has and with the wireless interconnected. Do they
Is the
have to
hard-
speak to one another?
I know from my client's perspective, they're happy to do whatever is required. If it would be easier from a safety perspective to extend the wired system into the basement, they're happy to do that. I believe the wireless system would provide a lot of coverage. But they have been very willing to do whatever is necessary to ensure that these are all speaking to each other and safe for the residents there. So whether it's extending the wired system that currently exists or making it all wireless, they're happy to do that.
More redundancy if we keep the hardwired and then just add to it.
I would say so, it would be redundant.
But the important thing is that they're all
Right, get early notifications. Where
Sorry, I can't hear you. Who's speaking?
Sorry, this is the board member. We're just kind of talking amongst ourselves. This is the chairman again. Any thoughts as far as the board moves? What we do there?
I'm sorry, I forgot your last name. Do you know what the system is, the existing hardwired system in the building now?
I don't.
Okay.
And obviously, we put it all on the plan that can be
Right.
submitted so that it can be
Right.
properly reviewed.
What we don't want is two separate systems, right?
Correct.
That's, we want everything to be talking to each other, not one system yes, one system no. I mean, it seems likely, but nobody seems to know for sure that, I mean, it's possible that the existing hardwired systems are just individual systems in each apartment and probably are not interconnected. That's my guess, although nobody knows for sure.
Dan Farley from the Department of State. I know in the past that when we've had a combination of systems, there was a thought that it could be confusing to somebody that's doing the inspection
Right.
to try to figure out what system is on what. So it almost seems that you would want either one or the other.
Right, I think we're on the
And if
same
it's-
page with that.
Yeah, and if it's easy enough to extend the hardwired, maybe that's the way to go instead of introducing a whole new system. But I guess that's up to you guys.
Or is it really up to the petitioner to decide what expense and not? Is it us as a board to require it to be wireless or wired? I mean, if there's plaster on the wall and you have to have 15 additional units in amongst the building, that's not for really us to decide, that's for the
Right.
petitioner to decide. So that's
Right.
where we're at. A lot of times a petitioner comes in and says, we're gonna go all wireless, or we're gonna extend what's here. So that's why we're kind of talking about this.
Yeah, and I think that the investigation of the feasibility of the extension of the hardwired system versus the wireless is a decision that they would absolutely make
Yeah.
before submitting it to the city, and it would all be on the plans that they would
Right.
propose. So it would be one system versus the other, to ensure that it's all, copacetic and
Yeah.
interconnected.
One of the things we don't want is to have an existing system hardwired and then introduce
Right.
a wireless system, and then there's a lot of confusion between inspections and the tenants.
Right.
But our decision is based on it being hardwired or Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and the frequency of inspections also
Right.
change.
So we're considering a Wi-Fi system right now. It would be a different application if it was hardwired.
I mean,
Mr. Chairman, would you consider going back into deliberation for a few minutes? So we can talk sort of off the record on possibility.
I don't think that's a bad idea. I think we should do that as well. Give the board a little bit more time now that we know that there's an existing hardwire system in there. So let's do that. I like that suggestion. If we
We're
ask
off
the
the
petitioners, let's go off the record. And we'll ask,
Sorry to,
sorry, ask you to leave the room once again and let us figure this one out. Let's go back on the record.
We're on the record.
Great, so we're coming out of recess in the matter of petition number 2022-0672. And we are going to conclude this hearing. Any other questions or comments? The board, I'll review what the board has kind of come to decision on. Anything else from?
So I had a chance to speak with a client to clarify what the system is. It's a hardwired system in the building that's all
Who's
interconnected.
speaking,
throughout
please?
all of- Robert Rossborough for the petitioner, that is interconnected throughout the building. So what they would do is extend that current extended system to the basement, so it's all continued to be interconnected, is what they would propose. Sorry, that was my mistake, my confusion of what they were intending. So keep the existing system, one system in the building, all interconnected, extended then to the basement to ensure that it's all covered under the same.
So if a notification was this is Jared Barringer from the board. So if a notification was made in the basement, they would know on the upper floors.
Yes, correct.
How do you do that?
One system.
Okay, so let's just summarize that you just said. This is Mr. Brown from the board speaking. It's a hardwired system that communicates, it's interconnected, they communicate with each other. And the petitioner is asking to extend that system into the basement.
Correct.
So every device, this is Laura on the board, every device in every apartment, in every room in every apartment, every device communicates with each other, is what your understanding
Currently, yes.
currently?
Okay. Any other questions or thoughts from the board? Sort of changes what we were going to say, but
Right.
we can
Well,
go with it
let's go with it.
if everyone's
That's
okay.
what I thought I heard originally from that.
Yeah, we were very good the whole time. Any other questions or comments from anybody online at this point?
I'm all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, just give us one moment, Dave, Chairman, hold on. Okay. Okay, so we are going to conclude this hearing. We'll go through the findings and some of the conditions. I'll make sure you're aware when we hit those conditions. Just pay attention. That's where we're going to state what needs to be done to get that. So this is respect to petition number 2022-0672. The petitioner pertains to an existing building, a group R2 occupancy. It's a 3-story building, and it's located at 852 Union Street. He is seeking relief from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, with regards to cellar ceilings. With respect to the petition number 2022-0672, the board makes the following findings. Number one, that the building that is the subject of the petition is properly classified under this Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 1, Section 433, as a multiple dwelling. Number two, that the subject building is approximately 6,332 square feet in gross square area and was originally constructed in 1920. Number three, that the subject building is required to conform with the provisions of Article 3 of the Multiple Residence Law as provided in Section 25, and that it existed on July 1st, 1952, or was converted to a multiple dwelling after July 1st, 1952, and is not a hotel or similar dwelling subject to Article 4 of the Multiple Residence Law. Finding number 4 is that Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law requires that every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the cellar of the ceiling or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Finding number 5, that the lowest story, cellar, ceiling of this multi-family dwelling is not enclosed with fire retardant material. It does not contain a sprinkler system. A fire in the cellar could easily spread throughout the building before it is noticed. There is mechanical piping and electrical wiring along the ceiling of this unoccupied cellar, which would make installing a fire retardant ceiling very difficult. It's number 6. As an alternative to compliance with Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law, the applicant proposes to extend the currently hardwired system to the basement to install alarms in the basement as well. And that the hardwired system is interconnected, that all alarms are talking to one another, so that signal devices on each story of the dwelling that would provide early warning in the event of a fire-related emergency. Finding number 7 is that the petitioner does not know if the door into the basement is fire rated or if self-closing. And finding number 8 is that a floor plan was presented into exhibit to the board that indicates location of the detectors, but we need to ensure that all required locations shall be installed as required by the current property maintenance building code. And then finding number 9 is that an existing hardwired system, interconnected system, is installed in the property. This concludes the findings. The board finds that in the case before, the proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the law's provisions for health, safety, and security. Strict compliance would entail practical difficulties, unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because such would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which, without a loss of the level of safety, achieve the intended objective of law. Wherefore, it is determined that the application of the variance from Chapter 6(1)(b) of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30(b) is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. And this is where we want to pay attention to the conditions. You will get a final write-up of this also, but these are the conditions. So that the existing interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are installed and located throughout the building as required by current code. That includes the basement as well, so they're required to be also installed in the basement as required by the code.
Do you want to specify the property management code?
Yeah, it's the current property management code.
Maintenance
code. Yeah, property maintenance code. Yep, on that one. Thank you. So condition number 2 is that a floor plan of each level of the building be developed by a qualified individual indicating all detector locations shall be submitted to the city of Schenectady for approval. They're already installed, but for approval to make sure the installed locations are acceptable and that any proposed additional locations are also acceptable. Condition number 3 is that the property owner shall have the city of Schenectady perform a formal test of the installed interconnected system to ensure all alarms are properly communicating and are installed properly. Condition number 4 is that any entrance door and every door opening into an entrance hall, stair hall, or other public hall connected therewithin shall be self-closing. Condition number 5 is that the door into the basement shall be fire rated and also self-closing.
This is Laura, just to clarify on condition number 4, that the wording on that any entrance door and every door opening into any entrance hall, stair hall, or other public hall. So that includes every apartment door? Every apartment door should also be self-closing?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, that concludes the conditions. Is there a motion from the board?
Laura will motion it. I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Andy Ellis, second.
Thank you. I'll now poll the board. Those in favor say yay, and those opposed say yay. Ms. Coons?
Yay.
Mr. Ellis?
Yay.
Ms. Ryder?
Yay.
Mr. Behringer?
Yay.
And I also, Mr. Abramo also has a yay, that's 5 yeas, 0 nays, and the variance is now granted. Furthermore, the decision is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. Thank you. The hearing is, that case is concluded. Thank you very much. Let's go off the record.
Off the
Thank you very
record.
much.
All your time.
Okay, Mr. Bird.
Just a second, please.
No problem. Take your time.
We're on the record.
Thank you. We're going to move on to case number 2 for the day, which was originally number 1, but now we're at number 2. This petition number 2022-0653. It pertains to an existing mixed-use building containing a Group M occupancy on the first floor and a Group R2 occupancy on the upper 2 floors. The building is 3 stories in height, of type 3B construction, located at 814 Eastern Avenue, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. Relief is requested from Chapter 6(1)(b) of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, cellar ceilings. That states that every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retardant or be equipped with a sprinkler system, unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. The petitioner is requesting relief from the requirement that a fire retardant ceiling or sprinkler system be provided in the cellar of the dwelling. Additionally, relief is being sought from Chapter 6(1)(b) of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 31, inside cellar stairs. That states that every stair leading from the cellar to the floor above in all old multiple dwellings shall be enclosed with fire retardant partitions and shall be equipped with a fire retardant self-closing door located as the department may approve. Petitioner is requesting relief not to provide a fire retardant partition in the cellar stairs. So now, at this time, the board will like to open up the discussion for the petitioner, let you present your case. Just make sure you also state your name, your title, and your address for the court reporter again clearly. At this time, you may explain your case. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Sadiq Hassan, president of Sadiq Enterprises LLC, 814 Eastern Avenue, Schenectady, 12308. I have 3-story building, not include the basement, and down in the basement is hardwired alarm system, and have an H unit connected to the basement. And we got there an H unit got antigen, what is called antigen on the side. And that's it.
So there's an existing hardwired
Yes.
system
Yes.
that's also connected into the
Yes.
basement detectors?
Yes.
Is this new?
No, it's been since when I got the building.
Okay.
I've been on it since 2020.
Okay,
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
okay.
Why are there 4 of them altogether?
I don't know, that's how I see. That's
know.
what I go and I see, but each together is connected to each unit.
Maybe each detector goes to a separate unit?
Oh, yeah,
How many units are in the?
4, plus the convenience store downstairs.
Has the system been tested at all to date? Have you been able to?
Yeah, it's, as I have many inspection coming and test.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is Laura, are there any detectors in the convenience store as well as
Yes.
in the apartments?
yes,
Okay,
in apartment or in the conveniences.
I guess both, so you're saying there are, the system is interconnected, so
Yeah,
you're saying,
from the
so
basement to each unit.
to each unit, but does that also include the convenience store, so if,
Now it's closed, it's right away there. I have only 4, like how you see in the picture.
4 apartments,
No, 4 ladder, for fire alarms.
Four alarms?
Yes.
4 detectors?
Yes,
In the basement?
yes.
Okay, and there are 4 apartments?
4 apartments, yes.
Okay, so it's probably a good guess that there's not, that the convenience store is not included in this
I'm
system?
not sure.
Are there any?
I'm not sure because we never tried this. The store by itself has got some alarm system, but I don't think it's connected from downstairs to upstairs.
Okay, so it has
I'm not sure.
an independent alarm system?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like that one we did with the bar where it had
Yeah.
its own
Right.
system.
Right. I can see from the photo, trying to get a sense of what the convenience store is like. I can see from the exterior photo that you have a kitchen hood outside is there a
Yes,
commercial?
yes, kitchen hood in
Is
it.
there a commercial kitchen?
Yeah, but it's
kitchen in it?
closed. It's not like you use it.
Okay,
The guy, he gets running, not sell food. He didn't sell food. The hood is closed.
he's not cooking in there?
Yes, he didn't cook it.
Okay.
Or the retail space
Yeah.
is all on one floor, there's no
Yeah, one
apartments
floor.
on that?
No,
The
no,
apartments
no,
are above?
No,
Okay.
one floor.
And there's no other rental unit on that main floor, just the
No.
retail?
Yes, the retail.
Okay.
This is Jared. It's got a connected garage on the back?
Connecting, but it's separate, it's not connected, but it's attached to the.
It's
building.
attached.
Yeah, I use it for myself, it's not rented, it's not nothing, it's
But,
closed.
and there's no openings between the garage and the building?
No,
You can only get to it?
this is a door, but I close it with wood. It's closed, it's been closed, the door.
Are the heating units or mechanicals for the apartments in the
Is
basement?
it heating? What do you mean mechanical when you say, like, what do you mean?
Hot water heaters?
Oh, yeah.
They're in the
Actually,
basement.
Yeah, but nobody, no tenant go into the basement.
Okay.
Yeah, only the guy who run the convenience.
Does he store things in the basement? The convenience store, does he use storage in the basement?
No.
How do you get to the basement? This is Laura
From the store,
from the store.
yeah, from the store one door, and outside is a door from the sidewalk to
Okay.
inside.
Mhm.
Yeah. But mostly it's closed, you know. We didn't use it much. The door from outside.
Where is that door? It's on the,
From the window of the convenience store.
Like it's a sidewalk?
Yeah, the
Like you open
sidewalk.
up the doors,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
probably that grate right there? Yep. Do you know if the stairwell to the basement from the convenience store?
From the convenience, not connecting to the.
Do you
unit.
know if the door is fire rated?
No, it's not.
Okay, does it have a
It's
self,
not. It's a regular door, wood.
does it have a self closer on it?
No.
Okay.
Not based on that picture.
Oh, is there a picture of the inside?
Yeah.
From below.
The door's wide open.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
I was open it. At the time when I take a picture, I was open it.
You couldn't tell from the prior case, that would be a requirement, one of our requirements, to put a fire rated
Yeah, I know.
self-closing.
I hear that from Dunya. Who? Dunya?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
Dan.
told me, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't realize that. Just when I'm finished with you, I say my picture.
So when we say they're interconnected alarms, it's not necessarily that the units are connected. Seeing that we have 4 units, are we thinking that each one of these units in the basement are going to each of the units? So the units are connected.
right, if they have fire in one of the other in one of the other units, they're not gonna know.
Right.
Or in the convenience store itself as well.
Right, that's a separate system.
This is Andy from the board. I see, based on the picture of the parking lot side, that there's secondary fire egress for these units. The ladders out, yeah, I assume that's only for 2 units? Is there an
No,
additional?
for the 4.
That's for all
Front and
4?
From each window.
Are they front and back?
Are the units front and back of the building?
The fire only this, and the regular from the stairs.
Right, there's 2 units per floor,
Yeah, 2 units.
so that are sit front and back.
Yeah, front and back.
So
And
they
the
hit
side
one
system-
So they're out of a window,
It's
out
a
of the
window there,
hallway,
you can get out from the window to the fire.
but that window's in the hallway between
No,
the
not
units,
in the
or?
house.
No, each unit has
Each unit.
access to
Oh,
it.
there's,
Unit access by
it
itself.
goes all the way
Yeah,
across,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
No. I guess fix it when last years, almost cost me like 5,500. Welding and stuff, run well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
On this, just curious, this is Laura from the board.
Yeah.
On this photo, what is this big wide stair for?
This is to go to the unit, the 2 units in the back.
Ah, that's their main entrance.
Yeah, I guess fix it to 400. It was only one side rail handle,
Right.
and I guess he told me this year to fix another rail.
On the building side.
Yeah.
Right. Put that away a little bit.
This is Jared from the board. Are there detectors in the hallways, in the stairwells, that are interconnected?
Yeah. What do you mean interconnected?
Connected to
Separate.
the system? They're separate?
No, separate though. The highway, the stair is separate by itself. I don't think it's connected.
So there's a device in the stairwell, so that would,
There's 2
Detect-
in each front. The
Right,
unit. Yeah,
but so if that alarm went off, it would only go off in the stairwell.
I think, yes.
It's a hardwired alarm.
Not the stair.
It's
I'm not
just
sure. I
battery
never
after
try it,
It's
but
battery.
I don't think, I'm not sure. I never try it. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
But is it there as a fire system, like alarm fire system?
Laura, do we have any more questions about the building or the systems? Or do we want to ask the code official to weigh in?
Yeah, let's ask the code official present online. If you have any questions or comments for the board regarding to this case. Again, it's the property located at 814 Eastern Ave.
That would be done.
Todd? Hear me?
Yes.
My name is Dan Prasad and 814 Eastern Ave. Like I said, he does have hardwire in there, but in the units, I'm just not sure if it's tied into the other units where if a fire was to take place, if they would all trigger, but if it's something was notified one for
I'm sorry, Dan's cutting out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if the fire alarms are tied into each unit where if there's a fire is happening in the unit, we'll notify the other apartments. But if there is something going on in the basement, I do know that it will trigger that, it will notify each unit that there is something.
cut out there again, but I think we understood what you were saying.
Yeah.
That's kind of the conclusion we were coming to, is that the units aren't interconnected between each other, but there is connection from
The
the
basement.
basement to each unit based on the picture of the four alarms we see next to each other.
Well, that if they are
Cutting out, again, we can't hear what you say.
now.
Sorry, unable to hear you at this point.
This is Laura from the board. Mr. Hassan, I have a question for you. I think I already asked it, but I forgot what you said. The commercial space does or does not have smoke detectors in it?
Yeah.
It does, okay. But it's just its own system, okay.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so is that clear?
Yes?
Yes, it is.
All right. Yeah, so that's the only thing I wasn't sure of, if it was tied into each unit, but that is something that he can probably verify just to make sure, because if it is, then I guess that seems like it'll work. But if not, then that would be something that you guys, I'm not sure if you guys would want that to also be happening.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about what
Right.
we'll want to see there.
And, in past cases, we have been requiring that that the city test the hardwired system. Is that something that the city has been doing?
Yes, we have normally been doing that. But then after these other hearings that we've been reading, and the final preparation for the paperwork is that they have to now get a third party. So that's something that I started to see that you guys were implementing.
For the wireless, not for the hardwired.
So hardwire, we can do our own testing.
Correct. You could do them all if you want. We were told you didn't want to do the Wi-Fi
Well,
because it was going to be an annual, whereas the hardwired is just a once.
correct. So anytime the owners do any inspection on their rental properties, we always test the system. If there was a variance, or there is a variance on file, then we make sure that whatever you guys implement for them to have is located there. So that's how we go make sure our testing is correctly done. So if you guys request heat detectors in certain locations, that's where we make sure that they are based on the variance paperwork. So nothing cannot change. Everything has to be as per your variance.
This is Dan Farley with the Department of State. If I can jump in real quick, if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
City of Schenectady, Dan, when I spoke with you guys, doing any inspections on a wireless system that would require an initial inspection on the installation and then an annual inspection, based on our conversation, the city didn't want to, they had indicated they didn't want to take on inspecting all of those multiple dwellings each and every year. So that's why the condition came in that a third-party inspection, qualified inspector would be required. That's only for wireless. That wasn't for the hardwired.
Okay, yeah, well, that's fine. It's not a big issue for us. That's okay. We will accept that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board members or anyone online?
So you're requesting a variance to use the current system, correct?
What is it?
Is that what the,
You want to extend the hard wire.
Yeah,
No.
leave it.
He wants to
Leave
leave
it.
it. He doesn't
Leave
want
it.
to extend
he
it.
doesn't want to change it, he
He
wanted
wants
to
to be
leave
grandfathered
it.
in.
Requesting a variance from the requirement for the ceiling because he has a system.
Right.
We also have a variance for the
Door.
Door,
The
the
enclosed
stairwell
stairs.
enclosure, yeah. Is it the rear stairs, or is it the front?
This door is going to the convenience store, right?
The
That's
door
what we're
between-
talking about, the one.
Right, the door between the basement and the
Yeah,
convenience.
that, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
from the cellar.
Right. This is Laura from the board. Mr. Hassan, do the individual apartment doors also have self-closers on them?
No.
Okay.
Okay, this is Chairman. Any other questions, comments before deliberation?
No.
Great, let's go off the record at this time.
We're on the record.
Thank you. Okay, we're coming out of recess on the matter of petition number 2022-0653. We do have a few questions and clarifications. One is for the code enforcement official online, Mr. Prasad. Are you able to hear us? We have one question regarding, I don't see.
This is Ricardo Kapoor, Code Enforcement for City of Schenectady. Dan had to leave for a inspection.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Kapoor. We're looking at the case with regard to 814 Eastern Ave. And on the application under the Code Enforcement Official Variance Questionnaire, this Chapter 61B, Section 31 is listed for request of variance. And it has to do with every stair leading from the cellar to the floor above in all multiple dwellings shall be enclosed with fire retardant partition, shall be equipped with a fire retardant self-closing door. So our question is regarding why that's being asked for a variance. And I'll tell you, one of the conditions we're going to have is to install a self-closing fire-rated door at the top of the stairs from the cellar to the first floor. And if that satisfies that request for that variance, or if there's another item here that we're missing.
Yes, I think that would be appropriate, and I would also talk to Dan about it.
Okay. So we're gonna, essentially, I'm gonna deny that variance for that section and say that we do need a fire retardant door at the top. But we are going to, similar to the other ways, grant the variance for section 30 with conditions. And for the applicant's knowledge, one of those conditions is going to be, it's very strange to have 4 alarms in the basement all grouped together. We're not sure why they're like that, but we are going to ask that those be combined into one alarm so that all the wires be connected to a single alarm. And that alarm has to be connected to each of the units. Yeah, one alarm. Those 4 that are grouped together, we're going to make one. And all the hard wires that are going to that would be branched to each of the units. So that would be one condition in order to grant this. Okay? As well as the self-closing door at the top of the stair. And then we'll.
We can do that in front of the basement, or have to run into each unit?
We believe the way it looks like it's set up is that you have a wired alarm, and those 4 alarms that are grouped, we're under the assumption that those alarm, that each one of those is going to each unit individually. And that by combining that, if that alarm were to go off, it would signal the units, each unit. It's just having 4 alarms grouped together. You could have one
One,
go off and the other not. And so now one unit's notified and the other one's not notified. So by combining these to one, that's the idea. Okay. Any other comments or questions from the board or anybody else?
Nope.
Okay. So bear with us. We're going to get through this. I have my notes and hopefully it's not too much trouble to try to explain this. Mr. Kapoor, while you're on, do you understand where I don't know how familiar, but we have that condition in the basement where there's 4 alarms grouped together or just installed next to each other. A part of this is where we're going to ask that those alarms be connected to just one unit, one alarm detector, and that one detector is connected to the 4 units in the building.
I
So,
do understand and I do agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to ask questions. I want to make sure why is 4. I think because when I have the inspection from section 8 in the city, when he tried to make the test, he make a test for each unit. I think it's separate, but I'm not sure this is be together or separate. But all the time when I see inspection coming, it's touching the tests from the downstairs to each unit. That one I see the time when people come in to test it. I'm not sure if it's one problem in one unit, it's be to all units. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure, we want to make sure that that one detector we're going to ask in the basement is communicating with each.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not sure this all 4 is working one. How it's only one for each unit. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Well,
look, bring somebody who know and I see.
That's so the requirement, we'll grant this with that condition,
Okay.
that you'll figure that out and that
Yeah.
this will communicate the way we're going to describe it.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
And if it's not that case, when you get an inspection for some reason that is not occurring,
Yeah.
then we might have to come back.
Okay.
You might have to come back with that same question to the board.
Oh, okay.
But for now, that's will be granted under the premise that this can be functioned
Yes.
the way we're going to describe it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. So I have to hire somebody to see, right?
You'd have to hire someone to combine these units into one.
Okay.
Yeah, electrician, someone
Yes,
to
yes, yeah.
wire this
Mm-hmm.
and then make sure it's functioning the way that we're describing.
Okay.
And then the city would be there to make sure that that's working.
Okay, there's like.
Okay. Okay. So with respect to petition number 2022-0653, the petition is requesting relief from chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, cellar ceilings. It's also requesting relief from chapter 61 of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 31. It has to do with the inside cellar stairs. The board makes the following findings. Number 1, that the building is the subject of this petition is properly classified under Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 1, Section 433 as a multiple dwelling. Number 2, the subject building is approximately 4,141 square feet in gross area and was originally constructed in 1925. Number 3, the subject building is required to conform with the provisions of Article 3 of the Multiple Residence Law as provided in Section 25, in that it existed on July 1st, 1952, or was converted to a multiple dwelling after July 1st, 1952, and is not a hotel or similar dwelling subject to Article 4 of the Multiple Residence Law. Finding number 4, Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law requires in every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the cellar or the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Finding number 5, the lowest story, the cellar ceiling of the multiple family dwelling is not enclosed with fire retardant material and does not contain a sprinkler system. A fire in the cellar could easily spread throughout the building before it is noticed. There is mechanical systems and piping, electrical wiring along the ceiling of this unoccupied cellar, which would make installing a fire retardant ceiling very difficult. Finding number 6, as an alternative to compliance with Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law, the applicant has installed a hardwired smoke and carbon monoxide detection system. It's interconnected from the basement to each unit individually, and it would provide early warning in the event of a fire-related emergency. Number 7, as an alternative to compliance with Article 3, Section 31 of the Multiple Residence Law, the applicant proposes to install a fire retardant self-closing door at the stairway that leads from the cellar to the floor. Finding number 8 is that the basement does contain 4 hardwired detectors installed in all around each other in one location. Finding number 9 is that we're not clear if the alarms are interconnected from unit to unit. And finding number 10 is the first floor alarm system in the mercantile space is not connected to the alarms in the basement, and it is its own independent system. And finding number 11, the hallway detectors in the hallway of the upper floors are not connected to the alarms in the basement, and they are battery operated. This concludes the findings. The board finds in the case before it. Well, hold on. The proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the law's provisions of health, safety, and security. Strict compliance would entail practical difficulties, unnecessary hardship, and would otherwise be unwarranted because such would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which, without a loss of level of safety, achieve the intended objectives. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for variance from Chapter 6(1)(b) of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, will be proposed and granted with conditions. We'll get to those conditions. I'll say that it also determined that Chapter 61(b) of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 31 is proposed to be denied. And that will also be addressed in the conditions. So those conditions for the proposed is that number 1, the 4 alarms in the basement shall be combined and wired into one alarm, and that alarm is connected to each unit in the building. Number 2, that the existing smoke and carbon monoxide alarms are installed and located throughout the building as required by current code. Number 3 is that the property owner shall have the city of Schenectady perform a formal test of the installed interconnected alarm system to ensure that the alarms are properly communicated and installed as described. To clarify, I just want to make sure the intent is that that one alarm in the basement is wired, hardwired, and communicating interconnected with each unit individually, so that one alarm communicates with the 4 units in that building. So condition number 4 is that the fire retardant rated self-closing door is installed at the stairway that leads from the cellar to the first floor. And condition number 5 is that the first floor alarm system currently installed is operational and code compliant. Any clarifications before we conclude, board members? Good? Okay, that concludes the conditions. Is there a motion from the board?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Behringer makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Laura will second it.
Thank you. I'll now poll the board. Those in favor say yea. Those opposed say yea. Ms. Coons,
Yay.
Mr. Ellis,
Yay.
Ms. Ryder,
Yay.
Mr. Berenger.
Yay.
And Mr. Brown, chairman, is also yay. That's 5 yeas, 0 nays, and the variance. Partly, this variance is granted as we described, and the other variance is denied as described. So furthermore, the decision is limited to the specified specific building and the application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give applied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This hearing is now concluded for this case. Let's go off the record. We're on to petition number 0.
We're on the record.
Okay, thank you. So this is it's case 3 for the day. It's petition number 2022-0696. Petitioner is labeled as Engine Hill Laundromat. And I believe we have the petitioner online. If you don't mind speaking your name, the title and address clearly for the court reporter, please.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good.
My name is Dan Morelli from SRG Architects, located at 143 J Street in Schenectady, New York.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Morelli.
And as I get started, I'm going to take my face off of screen and put the board behind me on screen so we can refer to it.
Yeah, sure. Why don't we do that? I will introduce the case here, and then we'll let you go through it with us. So this is, again, petition number 2022-0696. It pertains to an existing mixed-use building of Group M occupancy on the first floor and Group R2 occupancy on the upper floors. It's 3 stories in height of type 3B construction. It's located at 944 Crane Street. You got the right one, right? Yeah, okay. Whew. City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. Relief is requested from Chapter 6(1)(b) of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, cellar ceilings, which states that in every such dwelling, 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lower story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or equipped with a sprinkler system, unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. The petitioner is requesting relief for the requirement that a fire retardant ceiling or sprinkler system be provided in the cellar of the dwelling. That concludes that introduction. I'll turn it over to Mr. Morelli to present his case to the board. Thank you, Mr. Morelli.
You're welcome. As I said, my name is Dan Morelli from SRG Architects, and I'm representing Mrs. Feniza Ramru and a request for relief from Section 30 of the MRL for cellar ceilings, and also Section 31 for fire-rated inside cellar stairs. That wasn't included in our application because I just received the violation list from her several weeks ago and didn't have time to get that in, so I'm not sure if you want to include that or not, but I can at least speak on it, and then we can decide how we want to handle that. Mrs. Ramru was a 3-story structure located at 944 Crane Street in Schenectady, New York, also known as the Engine Hill Laundromat. There is a full basement, and in the basement, there's a non-combustible storage area with an unfinished ceiling, and there's a fire-rated, fully enclosed utility room with fire doors, fire-rated sheetrock, and safety devices. The first level of the building is unique in that it's got a single-story laundromat to the left. I'm not sure if you can see. I did several submissions on this. The first submission didn't have as many photographs as the second, which had the 7 copies of everything. So some of this stuff you may have gotten late. Now rendering to the left is the single-story laundromat attached to the 3-story structure. And the U.S. Food Mart and Deli is located below the apartment units, as you can see here on the right side of the structure. The second floor houses 2 one-bedroom apartments for rent, And the third floor houses 2 units, a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom. It's a wood frame masonry structure, obviously in an R2 occupancy, built circa 1942 plus or minus. I think our application might have stated something different. I had somebody else fill that out for me and it was incorrect, but it's circa 1942. The building is currently equipped or will be equipped as follows, and the devices that I speak about are hardwired and interconnected. And it's my understanding that the structure has been inspected yearly. And if Ricardo or Dan Prasad are still on, they can confirm this, but there's been rental certificates issued on a yearly basis and certificate of uses issued or renewed on yearly basis for the businesses. So I'll just go through my list. The basement currently has a hardwired combo smoke carbon detector in the unfinished space and a hardwired interconnected smoke detector in the utility room. And they're connected throughout the building to one another. The apartment units, I guess let's jump back to the first floor. The laundromat and the food mart are equipped with hardwired carbon and smoke detectors interconnected throughout the building, along with obviously emergency lighting, commercial space. And the second and third floor apartments are all equipped as follows. At the landing of each exit stair, there's a hardwired interconnected combo smoke and carbon unit at each one of those locations. Each apartment has a interconnected hardwired carbon smoke combo unit within 15 feet of each bedroom, and each bedroom has an interconnected hardwired smoke detector. Each door to each unit has self-closing devices and is fire rated. The door to the basement is self-closing and fire rated. However, the stairs leading to the basement are not yet, but will be. We just wanted to get through this hearing before we got an action on that. And they certainly will provide sheetrock at the underside, 5/8 fire code sheetrock at the underside of the stairs and walls surrounding that stairway leading to the basement. And again, I just got that list from them a couple of weeks ago, and I advised them as to what they have to do. The other thing they don't have as of yet, and we were waiting for this hearing, is the heat alarms at the entryway of each unit. I just wanted to know, I guess my question was, they need to be interconnected to each other. Do they also need to be interconnected to the other devices, i.e. smoke and carbon detectors? So that's kind of where we stand at this point with this project.
Great, thank you for that review through everything. So when you say hardwired interconnected, each time you said interconnected, it's assuming that all the ones that are interconnected are connected to one another.
That's correct. When one goes off, correct. When one goes off, they all go off.
Okay.
This is Laura from the board. Did you say that at the stair landings that they are not connected? They're separate system?
No, they are all interconnected.
Okay.
Is there any separate system in the building?
There's no separate systems in the building.
Okay.
And I did
This is
perform a
Jared.
self-inspection myself. Hi, Jared.
So you mentioned something about heat detectors that you're adding into the entryways of each unit?
Yeah, I believe that's one of the requirements, is that a heat alarm be interconnected or wireless at the entry door of each unit. So there's 4 units, so we'd have one at each unit, I believe is what the law states. And if that's the case, the homeowner hasn't, or I'm sorry, the building owner has not done that yet, but will do it. The question becomes, they'll be interconnected to each other, but do they also need to be interconnected to the other devices too?
Our paperwork doesn't have anything about heat detectors being added.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know where that came from.
We can ask Dan.
Yeah, we'll ask Dan.
I also have a floor plan if you'd like to see it. I don't believe you've got that. That was done after the submission.
Right.
The perimeter of the building, we did not get the apartments laid out because we just gained access to those a few days ago. But we can certainly do that as a condition.
Okay.
The entryway to the basement, does that connect up through stairwell up into the main stairwell into the building?
No, it's a separate entrance into the basement with its own self-closing door, fire-rated door.
Does that door, this is Andy from the board, does that door go into the retail space above or just outside?
No, behind the retail space is access to the upper levels as a second means of egress and also a separate entrance to the basement. And that's through a door, basically in a common area outside the rear space of the store.
And you also said the apartments currently do have self-closing doors, is that correct?
Correct. They all have self-closing doors and they're fire-rated doors.
And they're fire rated. All right. Any other questions, comments from the board? I have a question for Mr. Kapoor, the building code enforcement official. At the beginning of this, Mr. Morelli mentioned that there was also citation for section 31 of the chapter 61B, having to do with the rated stairs. So my understanding that currently the stairs are not rated, and then that section was cited so that the stairwell from the cellar to the first floor would be rated, or required to be rated.
This is Dan Morelli. Yes, I believe that's my understanding.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Morelli. Mr. Kapoor, are you also on currently able to make a comment on that in regards to
Yes,
section 31?
this is Code Enforcement Ricardo Kapoor. I'm looking at my questionnaire here, and I'm looking at the code section that was written on here for section 30 MRL. I'm just trying to remember on the violation. I just have to look through that, if you don't mind, please.
Sure, please. Yeah, I don't have anything here to see that either. That's why I'm curious where it's coming from. Mr. Morelli, while we're waiting, just to clarify, you said the building was originally constructed in 1942? Is that correct?
That is correct. The information I received is 1942.
Okay. Any other questions? Oh, go ahead.
One thing I may add, again, this is Dan Morelli. Not only is there a main entry egress, there's a rear entry egress, and there's also a fire escape on the building on the south side of the building from the second floor and third floor that escape down to the roof of the laundromat. So there's actually three legal means of egress from the space for the residences.
This is Ricardo Kapoor, Code Enforcement Officer, City of Schenectady. That is correct. It was cited for the inside cellar stairs also.
So the rating of that stairwell is the site, okay? So, yeah, I guess that's a great question, Mr. Ranger. Is it Mr. Brown again? Is there a request for a variance for that? Or it sounds like the applicant has proposed that they would rate that stairwell to satisfy that code requirement?
Oh, we'd like to get a variance if we could, but the petitioner has also agreed to fire rate that if needed. There's a fire rated door to the entrance of the stairs, so it would just basically be putting up some fire rated walls and fire rating the underside of the stairwell with sheetrock.
Okay.
That's going to be very difficult to do with everything that's in the way down there, obviously. Older building and an old set of stairs.
Yep. Any other questions or comments from board members?
No.
Okay, anybody else online with questions or comments before we go into deliberation?
No question. Thank you.
Thank you. Great, so then at this time, we'll leave the room, we'll deliberate, and then we'll come back. Please, if I ask, just stay on this call while the board members leave and come back. Let's go off the record.
We're on the record.
Thank you. Thanks for your patience. So we're coming out of recess in the matter of petition number 2022-0696. The petitioners representing is Mr. Morelli from SRG Architects. I think we're pretty well set on this one. We don't have many other questions for you, Mr. Morelli. Any other questions for us before we conclude the hearing?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, just so you know, we are, we're going to be, we don't need to rate, we're going to include section 31 in our findings, and then rating of that stair is not necessary, but we are going to require that self-closing rated door be remain in place as installed.
Understood.
Your question about the heat detectors also, we are going to just say that that's only installed if required by code and connected as per code.
Okay.
And everything else, it seems to be all right. So we're going to just bear with us, get through the hearing, and we'll conclude this one. So again, this petition pertains to an existing mixed-use building. Group M occupancy on the first floor. It's Group R2 occupancy on the upper floor. It's 3 stories in height. Type 3B constructed. It's located at 944 Crane Street, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. The petitioner is seeking relief from Chapter 61 of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, regards to cellar ceilings. And the board makes the following findings. Number one is that during the hearing, it was brought to our attention that the petitioner was also cited for noncompliance with Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 31. It has to do with the inside cellar stairs that states that every stair leading up from the cellar from the floor above or to the floor above in old multiple dwellings shall be enclosed with fire-rated partitions and shall be equipped with a fire-rated self-closing door located as the department may approve. We're going to enter that into our variance case for today. That's section 31, and we'll address that in our determination. So the finding number 2 is that the building that is the subject of petition is properly classified under section 6 or chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 1, Section 433 as a multiple dwelling. Finding number 3 is the subject building is approximately 4,300 square feet in gross area and was originally constructed in 1942. Finding number 4 is the subject building is required to conform with the provisions of Article 3 of the Multiple Residence Law as provided in Section 25, in that it existed on January 1st, 1952, or was converted to a multiple dwelling after July 1st, 1952, and is not a hotel or similar dwelling subject to Article 4 of the Multiple Residence Law. Finding number 5 is Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law requires in every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height. The ceiling of the cellar or the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retardant or be equipped with a sprinkler system, unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Finding number 6 is the lowest story ceiling of this multiple failing dwelling is not enclosed with fire retardant material and does not contain a sprinkler system. A fire in the cellar could easily spread throughout the building before it is noticed. There is mechanical system, piping, electrical wiring along the ceiling of this unoccupied cellar, which would make installing a fire retardant ceiling very difficult. Finding number 7 is that as an alternative to compliance with Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law, the applicant has installed hardwired and interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detection alarms. They are interconnected to signaling devices on each story of the dwelling that would provide early warning in the event of a fire-related emergency. Finding number 8 is the door into the basement is a fire-rated and self-closing door. And number 9 is that the door into the apartments are also fire-rated and self-closing. This concludes the findings. The board finds that the proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the law's provisions for health, safety, and security. Strict compliance would entail practical difficulties, unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because such would be unnecessary in light of alternatives, which without a loss in level of safety achieve the intended objective of the law. Therefore, it is determined that the application for variance from Chapter 6.1b of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, and Section 31 be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. That the hardwired, interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are installed and located throughout the building as required by current code. Heat detectors be installed and connected if required by current code. Number 2, that the property owner shall have the city of Schenectady perform a formal test of the installed interconnected alarm system to ensure all alarms are properly communicated and installed. And number 3 is that any entrance door and every door opening into the entrance hall, stair hall, or other public hall connected there within shall be self-closing. And number 4, that the door into the basement is indeed rated and is self-closing. Anything else, board? That concludes the conditions. Is there a motion from the board?
Anybody else make a motion?
Great, do I have a second?
I'll second it, Jackie Coons.
Thank you. I'll now poll the board. Those in favor say yea, those opposed say nay. Ms. Coons?
Yeah.
Mr. Ellis?
Yay.
Ms. Ryder?
Yay.
Mr. Berenger?
Yay.
Mr. Brown, Chairman, also has yea. That's 5 yeas, 0 nays, and the variance is now granted. Furthermore, this decision is limited to the specific building and the application before it, as contained within the petition, and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. Thank you, Mr. Morelli, for being here with us and everyone else on the call. This case is now closed. Let's go off the record.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
We're on the record.
Thank you. We're on number 4 for the day. This petition is the matter of 2022-0697. Let's confirm, and that's the petitioner is J.A. Daddario. Is there someone on the call?
Yes,
Mr. Daddario, I think I see your name.
yes.
You don't mind stating your name and your title? Thank you.
Yeah, Joseph Daddario, one of the owners. My brother Anthony is also on. He's the other owner of J.A. Daddario LLC. Our official address is 1713 Lenox Road, Schenectady, New York. Today we're talking about the building at 1007 Union Street in Schenectady.
Thank
This
you,
is a
Mr.
6
Daddario.
unit. Continue.
Why don't I'll introduce the I'll introduce the case and I'll let you continue. So give me one moment. Thank you for that. So yeah, the petition pertains to an existing building of R2 occupancy. It's 3 stories in height. It's a type 3A building construction. It's located at 1007 Union Street, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. So the relief is requested from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, cellar ceilings, which states that in every such dwelling, 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story of there be no cellar shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. The petitioner is seeking relief from the requirement that a fire retardant ceiling or sprinkler system be provided in the cellar of the dwelling. So at this time, Mr. Daddario, I'll let you continue with where you go and present your case to the board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, this is a 6-unit building at 1007 Union Street. It's a very old building, solid brick walls, no wood joists, floor joists, 2x10s, very solid. The apartment in question on the 3rd floor is just a 1-bedroom where only 1 single person lives. We've owned the building.
Something just cut out. Hold on, Mr. Daddario. We can no longer hear you. I'm not sure it's on our end or if it's a microphone issue. We can no longer hear you at this point.
This is Dan Farley of the Department of State. I can hear you, the board members, but I cannot hear Mr. Daddario.
Can you hear now?
Yeah, we're getting
You're cutting in and
cutting
out.
in and out.
Pretty windy up here. Got someone with tech. Bear with me, sorry.
Yes, he's cutting out.
Hello. Hello, this is Joseph D'Addario.
Hello, yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback.
Okay. Let me.
Yeah, maybe it's 2 lines. We can hear you talking at this point. Maybe it's better.
Would you like to go off the record for a minute?
Okay, is the feedback better?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Let's stay on the record. I think they got it.
Okay. I'm Joseph D'Addario's daughter, aka his technical support today.
Sure. Appreciate you stepping in.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and we've called in on the cell phone. I have you on speaker. Go ahead, Dad. You can continue.
Okay, we're here again. Sorry, gentlemen and ladies. All right, so we, I guess, I don't know where I started or I stopped, but this is a 6-unit brick building, solid walls, in 1007 Union Street. There's only one apartment on the 3rd floor in question. It's a 1-bedroom. It's only a single person who lives there. We've owned the building since 1986. We've gone through many city Section 8 inspections, all complied, whatever everybody wanted. And currently we all have rental certificates for all the apartments. So just basically I'd like to go over the things we do have now. All doors are self-closing and all metal fire rated throughout the building. They're all self-closing. On the 3rd floor, there's 2 staircases with separate exits from the apartment, and the 3rd floor apartment even has an egress window. All smokes and carbon monoxide are all placed in accordance with what they're supposed to be. We must have at least 25 of them throughout the building with CO2s. And so everything is in order. We've provided a chart for you to try to show you where all these things are with diagrams on each floor. In the basement, going down to the basement, of course, there's a fire-rated metal door going down there. And we have we made a furnace room which encompasses about 25 to 30% of the entire basement, where it does have fire-rated sheetrock in the ceiling. The city made us redefine it last year or so, where we had to seal up all the cracks, crevices with Rockwell fire-rated caulk and everything. We even had to build a wall with a fire damper in that room. And that room that we call the utility room, it houses the hot water tank in the furnace, has 4 doors, metal doors, in and out. And it kind of like breaks up the cellar. So you go down the cellar, about 25% of it, and then there's this furnace room and the next portion, and then it goes to another area in the basement. The entire basement is not used for anything more than our storage. Nobody ever goes down there to do anything else. So basically, having all the pipes and the wires hanging below the ceiling would be probably impractical to try to sheetrock the rest of the ceiling. So here we are today asking for a relief and a variance to try to get instead the wireless smoke detectors and replacing that instead of doing the entire ceiling with sheetrock.
Thank you, Mr. D'Addario.
Yes.
So we're going to get into the detectors and what's installed versus what you're proposing to be installed. So am I understanding that one way through this would be to install wirelessly interconnected alarms that would be installed in the basement as well as the units? Is that what you're proposing that we do?
I would assume exactly where we have the regular ones, the 10-year lithium battery ones that we've used for many, many years. I would imagine we would just replace them at the same locations, one in every bedroom, one in every hallway, one in every stairwell, one, every common area, all the appropriate spots. We would replace the system, the wireless system, interconnected, of course, and replace them replace them in those spots.
Is there any hardwired system in the building?
No, I'm not. It's the building is a solid brick in the walls. It'd be near impossible, I think, to wire all the way through to do that at this point.
Sure.
Very difficult.
Okay. Any other questions from board members? So you said that, this is Mr. Brown again, sorry, I keep forgetting to introduce myself, but you said the door into the basement is self-closing and rated, is that true?
Yeah, it's metal on each side. We, through the years, the city has required us to do all these things. We did them. So that's rated. Then you walk down to the cellar a little bit. You walk a little way. Then you go into this furnace room. And there's like 4 different doors into it, and that's all fire-rated doors. And then, of course, like I said, all the ceiling is all fire-rated sheetrock, and it's all. I wish I could have done the rest of the cellar that way. But we couldn't, and then it would have been okay with this.
Any questions from the board for Mr. Daddario? Do you have a building code enforcement official on the call today with regards to this case? Would you like to make a comment or questions?
They all left.
They all left?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I think that if there's no other further questions or comments from the board or from the petitioner, why don't we take a quick, we're going to go into deliberation. The board's going to talk about the case for a little bit, and then we'll be back. Please stay on this line until we get back. Let's go off the record.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just give me a second, please.
Okay.
We're on the record.
Thank you. Mr. Daddario, we still have you on the line?
Yes, you do.
Great, thank you. We have no other questions for you. I think we have enough information. We can conclude the hearing. And it's going to be suggested, as discussed, would be interconnected wireless alarms throughout the building. We would ask that a plan be developed by a qualified individual to make sure that the alarms that you are going to put in, probably replacing what's already there, like you're suggesting, but making sure that that satisfies current code as well. So that would be developed and submitted to the city, suggested prior to going forward with installing the new alarms.
Okay.
But that would be the condition. So we'll get through and conclude this one. It's in matter of petition number 2. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the city would develop a plan to where they go, or have an independent person?
No, independent, so a qualified individual that can develop a plan to know where they should go based on code.
Okay.
You may be there already. I would hope you are close, if not. But yeah, something that kind of tells the city exactly where you plan on placing all the alarms.
Okay.
Okay. So with respect to petition number 2022-0697, the petitioner is seeking relief from Chapter 61B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, cellar, with regards to cellar ceilings. The board makes the following findings. Number 1, the building that is the subject of the petition is properly classified under Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 1, Section 433 as a multiple dwelling. Number 2, the subject building is approximately 5,919 square feet in gross area and was originally constructed in 1896. Number 3, the subject building is required to conform with the provisions of Article 3 of the Multiple Residence Law as provided in Section 25, in that it existed on July 1, 1952, or was converted to a multiple dwelling after July 1st, 1952, and is not a hotel or similar dwelling subject to Article 4 of the Multiple Residence Law. Number 4, Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law requires in every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retardant or be equipped with a sprinkler system unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Number 5, the lowest story cellar ceiling of this multiple family dwelling is not enclosed with fire retardant material and does not contain a sprinkler system. A fire in the cellar could easily spread throughout the building before it is noticed. There is mechanical system piping and electrical wiring along the ceiling of this unoccupied cellar, which would make installing a fire retardant ceiling very difficult. Number 6, as an alternative to compliance with Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law, the applicant proposes to install battery-powered wireless smoke and carbon monoxide detection alarms interconnected to signaling devices on each story of the dwelling that would provide early warning in the event of a fire-related emergency. Finding number 7 is that the door into the basement is rated and self-closing. And finding number 8, that the doors into the apartments are also self-closing. This concludes the findings. The board finds that in the case before it, the proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the law's provisions for health, safety, and security. Strict compliance would entail practical difficulties, unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because such would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which, without a loss in the level of safety, achieve the intended objective of the law. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for variance from Chapter 6(1)(b) of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, B is and hereby proposed to be granted with the following condition. Number 1, that the interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detectors be provided and located throughout the building as required by current code. Number 2, that a floor plan of each level of the building be developed by a qualified individual indicating all detector locations and shall be submitted to the City of Schenectady for approval prior to installing the new detector. Number 3, that the property owner shall hire a third-party independent code certified inspection agency to test the alarm system annually at a minimum and shall submit inspection results to the City of Schenectady Building Department. The inspection reports shall also be left on site and be readily available for inspection. Number 4, that all the alarms be interconnected together in conformance with NFPA 72 and be wirelessly interconnected devices. And number 5, that any entrance door and every door opening into any entrance hall, stair hall, or other public hall connected therewithin shall be self-closing. This concludes the conditions. Is there a motion from the board?
Okay. Jared Barringer, motion.
Do I have a second?
Laura will second.
Great. I'll now poll the board. Those in favor say yay. Those opposed say nay. Ms. Coons?
Yay.
Mr. Ellis?
Yay.
Ms. Ryder?
Yay.
Mr. Behringer?
Yay.
And Mr. Brumwell is also yay. That's 5 yeas, 0 nays, and the variance is granted. Furthermore, the decision is limited to the specific building and the application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. Thank you very much, Mr. Daddario, for being on the call today. The case is now concluded. We can go off the record.
Thank you very much.
We're off the record.
Okay. Okay, that concludes that one. We got one more left for the day, number 5. Just give me.
Just give me a minute, please.
Yeah, let's take 5 minutes, just to 1:05.
We're on the record.
Okay, 5th and final case for the day. It's regarding to petition number 2023-0011. Petitioner is Union Rentals LLC, but represented in them is Mr. Dan Morelli. I see you online. Dan, if you don't mind saying your name again and your title.
Yes. Hello again, folks. My name is Dan Morelli with SRG Architects, located at 143 J Street in Schenectady, New York.
Thank you, Ms. Morelli. The petition pertains to an existing building of Group R2 occupancy, 3 stories in height, Type 3B construction, located at 1535 Union Street, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. Relief is requested from Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, cellar ceilings, which states that in every such dwelling, 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, there be no cellar, shall be fire retardant or be equipped with a sprinkler system unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. The petitioner is requesting relief that the fire retardant ceiling or sprinkler system be provided in the cellar of the dwelling. So this time, Mr. Morelli, I will turn it back over to you to explain the building to us and present your case. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I just want to say that I would love to join you in person today, but I wasn't sure about the parking situation with the snowstorm. So I said, you know what, I better just do it online. I didn't want to be late.
I don't blame you, no problem at all.
Next time I'll see you in person for sure.
That'd be great.
Once again, so this is Dan Prasad's case. I don't see him online any longer, or Ricardo. But I spoke with them several times, so I'll speak a little bit on their behalf. But I'm gonna, again, I did send in with my packet some drawings for you, some floor plan drawings. And I'm gonna shift my focus onto the board behind me with the floor plan so we can reference it. And I'll just go through my agenda with you, okay?
Sure.
Okay. So again,
Mr. Morelli, before we even start, do we have section 31 included in this case? Did they cite you on this building or not with that?
Not on this case, just section 30.
Great. Sorry for interrupting.
That's okay, and I do apologize about that. These two were our very first cases as a firm, and we've got probably 30 more to go that we've already locked in, and these first two are our learning curve, so we'll get better as we go.
Okay. All right. We'll be ready for those.
Yeah.
So
I guess the uniqueness is our building's right across the street from City Hall and the building department, so that's what makes it nice.
Sure.
Okay, I'm representing Mr. Jeffrey Kemp and his request for relief from Section 30 only of the MRL cellar ceilings. Mr. Kemp owns a 3-story structure located at 1535 Union Street in Schenectady, New York, also known as Union Rentals, Inc. It's a unique building in that it's got a ground level entry at the rear of the building, and we kind of went back and forth with Dan Farrelly regarding 2-story, 3-story buildings. We did determine that the MRL classifies this as a 3-story building. So I'm going to refer to the ground floor as the first floor, the main level as the second floor, and the upper level as the third floor. So the ground level or first floor has both front and rear entry. At the rear entry of the building, there's a common area, which is a common laundry room and a utility room. Both of those spaces are unfinished ceilings, but finished walls. And the laundry room does have a fire-rated door with a self-closing device on it, as well as the entry to the common area, which leads into the space itself. So basically, you go through the laundry room, which leads you to the apartments, and then it also leads you to the utility room. On that level, there are 2 one-bedroom rental units that are fully sheetrocked and fully equipped. The upper levels both have 2 two-bedroom apartment units, so there's 6 units in total. It's a wood frame masonry structure, R2 occupancy, built circa 1920. And again, the date on our application might be slightly off on that. I didn't provide that information, somebody else did. From here on out, I'm going to do my own date research. So anyway.
Okay. Yep.
I'm sorry?
No, 1920. Yeah, we got it.
Okay. The building is currently or will be equipped as follows. And again, everything that I state is hardwired and interconnected. So on the ground floor, and I'm not sure if you have my drawings in front of you, but on the ground level, common areas towards the rear of the building all have interconnected hardwired combo smoke carbon detectors. One in the laundry room, one in the utility room, and one in the common path where the stairwell is. Also on the front stairwell, it has the same device. Inside each unit, as you enter the main entry, there's also interconnected combo smoke carbon units. And in each bedroom of each unit are interconnected smoke detectors only. And those are all hardwired. So all the devices in the building are currently hardwired and interconnected so that if one goes off, they all go off. Same issue with the heat detectors that we had on the other project. There are none present now. The owner of the building does plan on installing one at the entry door of each unit. So he'll provide 6 interconnected heat detecting devices. And again, I got clarification at the earlier hearing on that. So I've already spoken to him via telephone. He's willing to do that. Although they're not installed yet, they will be. All the doors that enter units or common areas are fire rated with self-closing devices. And that's present currently. So the only thing not present this time is the heat detectors.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Morelli. We're looking at, I love the key on the plan. I'm looking at the symbols, looking great. I see it, SC, it says proposed self-closing door with a heavy circle around it. Have those now been installed? Is that how I'm understanding it?
You are correct. He's been a little proactive and done some of this work prior to the meeting. So when we did the drawing and I did the inspection, they were not in place. We issued him the drawing and then he put them in place, correct.
Okay. Got it.
And that's on all of the proposed doors they've been replaced?
That's correct.
Okay.
So it sounds like most of the first floor already has a hard ceiling with some rating to it. Explain it, is it the utility room that does not currently and the laundry room? I know you mentioned it.
Correct. The only two areas without a sheetrock ceiling are the utility room and the common laundry room in the rear of the first floor.
Got it.
This is Laura on the board. Dan, so it looks like on the 3rd floor, each of those units only have one exit? That's an existing condition?
No, the information we were provided at the time only showed that, and then we did a walkthrough after we did the drawing. And I didn't get to the front of the building. There is a second means of egress from the 3rd floor to the front. It's not shown on the drawing. It's not depicted correctly.
Oh, okay.
So basically,
And those are self-closing?
enter the front of the building. You go up a set of stairs, and you're already at level we'll call it the second floor, and that goes straight in, and there's a stairwell up to the third level and a stairwell down to the ground level or first floor.
In the center of the building, like dividing the two living rooms? Or,
Correct, yes,
okay, so it must come up here.
with a side entry into each living room.
Okay.
And we'll get that corrected on the drawing and resubmit as a condition. So I guess the answer to that question, Laura, would be yes, there's two means of egress from each space.
All right, well, while the board members are kind of looking over things, I don't think we have a building code official on the line any longer. Anybody else on the call that would like to make a comment or question?
This is Laura on the board. I have one more question. So the existing devices are currently interconnected and you would be extending them to interconnect with the additional devices? Or no? Are we going to wireless? I just.
No, so all of the devices that are in the building now, other than the heat detectors, are hardwired and interconnected. So we would be adding no new carbon or smoke detectors in the building because they're already there. But we would be adding heat detectors.
As standalone units?
Correct.
Any other questions or comments from the board? I'm good. Okay. All right. So just bear with us, Ms. Morelli. We're going to jump off. We're going to go into deliberation. We'll be back online and conclude this one. And thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. I'll hang tight.
All right.
We're off the record.
Okay, we're coming out of petition number 2023-0011. It pertains to an existing building, group R2 occupancy, 3 stories in height, type 3B construction, located at 1535 Union Street, City of Schenectady, County of Schenectady, State of New York. We have no further questions or comments for you, Mr. Morelli. Anything for us, the board, before we conclude this one?
I think I'm set, guys and ladies.
Okay, appreciate it. All right, so relief is getting requested from Chapter 6(1)(b) of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, regarding to the cellar ceilings. With respect to petition number 2023-0011, the board makes the following findings. Number 1, the building that is the subject of this petition is properly classified under Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 1, Section 433 is a multiple dwelling. Number 2, that the subject building is approximately 3,222 square feet in gross area, and we believe it was originally constructed. We have 1945. The petitioner has stated 1920 in the case, but it's what we can tell is 1945. Number 3 is that the subject building is required to conform with the provisions of Article 3 of the Multiple Residence Law as provided in Section 25, and that it existed on July 1st, 1952, or was converted to a multiple dwelling after July 1st, 1952, and is not a hotel or similar dwelling subject to Article 4 of the Malta Residence Law. Number 4, Article 3, Section 30 of the Malta Residence Law requires in every such dwelling 3 stories or more in height, the ceiling of the cellar or of the lowest story, if there be no cellar, shall be fire retarded or be equipped with a sprinkler system unless such ceiling has already been plastered to the satisfaction of the department. Number 5, if the lowest story cellar ceiling of the multiple family dwelling is not enclosed with fire retardant material and does not contain a sprinkler system, a fire in the cellar could easily spread throughout the building before it is noticed. There is mechanical system piping, electrical wiring along the ceiling of this unoccupied cellar in the utility and common laundry room, which would make installing a fire retardant ceiling very difficult throughout that bottom level of the cellar. Number 6, as an alternative to compliance with Article 3, Section 30 of the Multiple Residence Law, the applicant has installed hardwired and interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detection alarms according to the plan included in the exhibit of the variance. It's interconnected to signaling devices on each story of the dwelling that would provide early warning in the event of a fire-related emergency. Number 7, that the doors into each unit, as indicated on the plan, are self-closing. Fire retardant, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, fire retardant and self-closing doors.
Fire rated.
They're rated, yeah. Sorry, yeah, thank you. They're rated and self-closing doors into each unit. I do have a number 8 here that the plan provided in the exhibit indicates proposed self-closing doors on that plan. All those proposed self-closing doors have been installed to date, according to the petition. That concludes the findings. The board finds in the case before it, the proposed variance will not substantially adversely affect the law's provisions for health, safety, and security. Strict compliance would entail practical difficulties, unnecessary hardship, or would otherwise be unwarranted because such would be unnecessary in light of alternatives which, without a loss in the level of safety, achieve the intended objective of the law. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for a variance for Chapter 61-B of the Consolidated Laws of New York, Multiple Residence Law, Article 3, Section 30, be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. Number 1, that the existing interconnected smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are installed and located throughout the building as required by current code. That the heat detectors proposed be installed and connected if required by current code. Number 2, that the property owner shall have the city of Schenectady perform a formal test of the installed interconnected alarm system to ensure all alarms are properly communicated and installed. Number 3, that the entrance door and every door opening into an entrance hall, stair hall, or other public hall connected there shall be self-closing. And number 4, nope, that doesn't pertain. So that concludes the conditions. Is there a motion from the board?
Laura will make the motion.
Great. Do I have a second? Mr. Behringer seconds. I'll poll the board now. Those in favor of the motion say yay, and those opposed say yay. Ms. Coons?
Yay.
Mr. Ellis?
Yay.
Ms. Ryder?
Yay.
Mr. Behringer?
Yay.
And Mr. Brownwell says yay. That's 5 yeas, 0 nays, and the variance is now granted. Furthermore, this decision is limited to the specific building and the application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. Mr. Morelli, thank you for being with us today on both cases. Appreciate all the work you put into this before coming to the board. It makes things go a lot easier and a lot more helpful. So thank you.
Thank you guys very much. And one last note, you almost had me for 4 applicants today. Two of the other 3 had contacted our office and then decided to go off on their own and do it. So they did fine. So we're good.
Okay, all right, well, appreciate that. We'll probably see you in the future then, I'm sure.
I'm sure you will. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your day.
Okay, let's go off the record.